of your motion to dismiss is the Supreme Court's decision, which is now pending appeal by virtue of the MR, or the motion for reconsideration, filed last Monday by the House of Representatives. Is it not, Your Honor?
The question whether is it
Yes, your
subject
basis
to
for
appeal?
your motion to dismiss is based on the Supreme Court decision that the so-called impeachment is unconstitutional, based on their decision.
Yes, Mr. President, Your Honor, that's very, very clear and categorical.
Correct. The Supreme Court decision, Mr. President, although immediately executory, is not yet final. Thus, appealable. Kung naka-appeal na, ba't tayo nagmamadali? Na-dismiss ito sa atin. So may I ask the gentleman, what will happen if we prematurely dismiss the case and the Supreme Court subsequently grants the MR and reverses its own decision?
The question, Mr. President, is speculative.
Yes. May I have a speculative answer, Mr. President?
We cannot speculate. We can only guess, second guess, because on the basis of our experience as a practicing lawyer, Mr. President, ito pong ganitong klaseng desisyon, talaga pong wala na pong kaduda-duda na kahit po mag-file pa tayo ng motion for reconsideration. We are hoping against hope. It is as if we are wishing for the moon. Palagay nyo lang po merong isa na nag-reverse. Hindi rin po ma-overturn eh. Kasi po ang kailangan po ninyo ay 8 ang mag-reverse. Sa inaakala po ba ninyo meron kayong makukuhang 8 na pumirma doon sa unanimous decision na babaligtarin po nila yung kanyang sarili. Kaya napakahirap pong mag-speculate, Mr. President.
I will accept the answer of the gentleman, but I have done my research, Mr. President. And to remind everyone, the reversal of the Supreme Court's own decision is not impossible, even in landmark cases. In the case of Labugal, Bilaan Tribal Association Incorporated versus Victor Ramos, GR number 127882, December 1st, 2004, questioning the constitutionality of Republic Act 7942, or the mining law, the Philippine mining law. The Supreme Court granted the MR, reversing and setting aside its earlier ruling. And also, Mr. President, just a few days ago, the Supreme Court reversed its own ruling on the definition of a stockholder. This is the case of Lily Lopez versus Lolito Lopez with GR numbers 25497-957-58. So may kasabihan po tayo, ang tumatakbo ng matulin, kung matinik ay malalim. Kaya dapat siguro pag-isipan muna natin kung tama ba na bago magdesisyon ang Supreme Court, basta basura na natin ang kaso na ito.
Unang-una po, Mr. President, gusto kong malaman, yung po bang mga kasong sinabi nyo, unanimous decisions po ba lahat?
I am not sure about that. But one thing I can say is that if there is a mistake, unanimous decision could become a unanimous mistake.
Wala pa pong nangyaring gano'n, Mr. President. At saka po tayo pag nananakbo, ako po ay nakasapatos at saka sa kalsada kaya hindi po ako matitinik.
Well, Mr. President, there's always a first time. Regardless of whether it's unanimous or not, unanimous decision does not bar an appeal or a reversal, Mr. President. That is one thing for sure. Now, secondly, where is the ball, Mr. President? Or meaning the impeachment case itself? Is it in the Senate or in the impeachment court? Didn't the impeachment court throw it back, remanded, returned to the House of Representatives? So what are we dismissing in the Senate kung wala sa atin ang kaso? Can we continue hearing the case and dismissing it without the impeachment case in our hands? Can we throw the ball out when the ball is not in our possession? Siguro naman dapat magkaroon tayo ng tinatawag nating sense of proper sequencing of moves. Nasaan po ba yung impeachment case?
Mr. President, kanina po sa aking clarificatory statement, ang sabi ko nga po, yung ginawa pong initial proceedings noong 19th Congress Senate, yun po ay nangyari sa panahon po ng 19th Congress at lahat po yun ay naisantabi lahat sapagkat natapos nga po ang termino ng 19th Congress on June 30, 2024. Kaya po natin sinasabi, Mr. President, na dinidismiss na po natin ngayon sapagkat tayo po ang nasa lugar na sinasabihan ng Korte Suprema nung sabihin niyang ito ay immediately executory. Sino pong mag-i-execute nun? Hindi naman po i-execute yun ng House of Representatives. Maliwanag naman po na tayo lamang ang tinakdaan ng kataas-tahasang hukuman na gumawa ng paraan para isang tabi na po ang usaping ito sapagkat napagtibay nga nila na ito ay unconstitutional, void ab initio, at wala na po tayong jurisdiction para dito.
wherein the last session day was last June 11. Mr. President, and for the information of the public, there is a world of difference between adjournment versus adjournment sine die. Sa atin, pag nag-adjourn tayo for the Christmas break, nag-adjourn for the Easter break, nag-adjourn for the election period, nothing dies. The treaties, bills, resolutions, anything filed continues. It is never archived. Well, perhaps the lawyers of the ponentes did not realize that, or they were not familiar with the rules of Congress. As I said, this is a world of difference. Now, this is a transcendental case. Ang laking constitutional issue. Wala man lang oral arguments, or at the very least, a consultation with some members of Congress or members of the bar na nakakaintindi ng rules ng Congress regarding the procedure. In that matter alone, Mr. President, kasabihan ninyo mga lawyer, falsus omnibus, falsus unos, falsus omnibus. Mistake in one, mistake in all. In that manner, they wouldn't have decided based on their unfamiliarity with the legislative process. May mali agad eh. Pati ba legislative rules natin gusto nilang palitan? Ganun ba yun? Maybe not everyone may appreciate the importance of the legislative calendar of Congress. But us, it is a big deal. That's why I'm stressing this point. Concurrent joint resolution pa nga when we approve this calendar, only to be misinterpreted and used erroneously in this case. Nag-adjourn daw yung 19th Congress. Kaya na-archive lahat. Now, may kinopya lang, kopya, mali pa. Sabi nga kanina ng ating distinguished gentleman from Tarlac, hilaw yung complaint. Hilaw din yung decision. In addition to this factual error, Mr. President, it can be seen in the website of the House of Representatives that the 3 impeachment complaints were referred to the Committee on Rules and were consigned to the archives on February 6, not February 5, as claimed in page 78 of the decision. Nag-housekeeping lang ang House, kaya in-archive, hindi to end the Congress. This archiving were not the results of the ending of the 19th Congress, but because of the fact that the 4th complaint were already filed and transmitted to the Senate.
The gentleman from Cavite, Senator Lacson, is recognized for his interjections with leave, of course, of the gentleman who has the floor, Senator Marcoleta. You may proceed, sir, if Senator Marcoleta so desires.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is not an interpellation. Rather, this is a manifestation to be followed by a parliamentary inquiry.
The gentleman may proceed then.
Mr. President, I've been diligently reading and reviewing the rules of the Senate since I've been out of this august chamber for 3 years. Nowhere in our rules can I find a provision on a motion to dismiss, as submitted by the honorable gentleman from Tarlac. Neither is there a supplementary application of the rules of court to offer a space for such motion to dismiss, except perhaps in the committees performing their legislative inquiries in aid of legislation. Obviously, we are now assembled in plenary, not as an impeachment court, but as a legislative body, and I cannot relate to a motion in this plenary to an issue that involves a collective decision that falls solely and exclusively under the jurisdiction and authority of an impeachment court. Having said that, Mr. President, my parliamentary inquiry is addressed, of course, to the Senate President. Mr. President, how do we deal with the pending motion? I refer to the motion to dismiss. Shall we even take it up or deal with it? Kasi wala po sa rules natin. Paano wala tayo pong guidelines? Kasi wala po sa rules natin yung motion to dismiss. So anong guidelines ang susundin natin in addressing the motion to dismiss submitted by the Honorable Marcoleta? Assuming arguendo, Mr. President, that the motion is voted upon and adopted by this body, what if, Mr. President, the Supreme Court reverses itself when it rules on the MR filed by the House of Representatives through the Solgen? Shall we also backtrack and reverse ourselves in dismissing the impeachment case? I pose that question, Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Lacson.